Support WrestleTalk!
Donate on Patreon.
Brock Lesnar left WWE in 2004 to pursue a career as a professional football player. That quite didn't work out, but an agreement between Lesnar and WWE meant he couldn't go and work for another wrestling company. That didn't stop Brock from showing up at the Tokyo Dome in 2005, sparking a court case controversy. I am Luke Owen, and this is the real reason Brock Lesnar defected to New Japan. Brock Lesnar's dreams of being a professional football player didn't quite work out the way he'd planned. He got into a motorcycle accident just after signing with the Minnesota Vikings, and he was released a couple of months later. He requested to go to NFL Europe to improve his game, which was denied, and he himself turned down an offer to join the lower-paying CFL for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. With his football career dwindling, Lesnar put a call into WWE to ask to come back, who, because they had all the power, offered him a lowball contract that one source called insulting. You see, part of the deal to get out of his WWE contract and play football was that he agreed to a very big term, that he could not compete for another wrestling promotion or mixed martial arts company until 2010. That meant that all the options for Lesnar, like TNA, UFC, and New Japan, couldn't be taken up. WWE was the only available game in town, and they didn't want him. In order to get out of this predicament, Brock Lesnar sued WWE to get out of his non-compete clause deal, declaring the cause to be unenforceable. WWE didn't respond. So in 2005, Lesnar just showed up in the audience for New Japan's January 4th show at the Tokyo Dome. Unsurprisingly, WWE were not happy. WWE has asked the court to rule that Lesnar has breached their agreement. WWE claims that they should not be forced to change their deal with Lesnar just because he was unsuccessful at football. Lesnar and New Japan continued on, however, undeterred by WWE's counterclaim. Settlement talks began in September but went unresolved. Despite still technically being under contract to WWE and unable to compete in any other company, New Japan signed Lesnar to a deal for $50,000 a show and announced that he would be competing in a three-way for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship against Kazuchika Fujita and Masahiro Chono in October 2005, which Lesnar won with the F5, now renamed the Verdict as a way to stick it to WWE. Lesnar won, he debuted for New Japan, and now he's their champ. WWE were very unhappy and said that Lesnar appearing in New Japan irreparably harmed them as a company. The two went back and forth with settlement deals which wouldn't be resolved until April 2006. WWE is very pleased with the outcome of the litigation and believes that the settlement agreement appropriately protects WWE's substantial investment in Brock Lesnar's wrestling character. Before Lesnar and New Japan won the battle, there were other issues. As a company, New Japan in 2005 was often compared to WCW in the year 2000. No one was really in charge, and the show where Lesnar won the title didn't even have a full card announced until 2 days before the event, meaning they struggled to sell out their regular Tokyo Dome home. Many feel this is why Brock Lesnar wasn't performing at his usual high standards while in the company as their champion. He didn't fit there. Mentally, he wasn't into pro wrestling at that point. He was doing it for the fact they were paying him so well. Ultimately, New Japan was the at the time, so he may have had a sour feeling. He didn't have any great matches. Problems in their deal began to show almost immediately. He had successful title defenses against Shinsuke Nakamura, Giant Bernard, better known as Albert in WWE, and Akibono, but WWE continued to get an injunction put out so that Lesnar couldn't defend the title anymore. Despite all that, WWE weren't the reason Lesnar left New Japan. The plan all along was for Lesnar to keep hold of the belt and then drop it to Hiroshi Tanahashi, but when it came to renegotiate his contract, New Japan only offered him $30,000 rather than the $50,000 he'd been paid previously. Being money-driven at the time, Lesnar took his ball and went home. You could say that he refused to put over Tanahashi, but it wasn't like, I'm not going to put him over because he's too small. It was like, our deal was for $50K and you cut me. I'm not going to come. And that's what happened. He didn't come. It was announced that Lesnar had been stripped of the IWGP Championship championship due to visa issues, and a tournament was put in place in July which Tanahashi eventually won. What's interesting, however, is that Lesnar still held the physical IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and former New Japan promoter Antonio Inoki hired Lesnar to defend that belt in his new promotion IGF as the rightful champion. New Japan even recognized this belt and championship reign, referring to it as the IWGP Third Belt Championship. Lesnar lost this version of the IWGP Championship to Kurt Angle in June 2007, which he would then defend in TNA against Samoa Joe. Angle also defended it at New Japan's own January 4th Tokyo Dome show, but eventually lost it to the other IWGP Heavyweight Champion Shinsuke Nakamura in a title unification match in February 2008. Remember when Vince McMahon won the Royal Rumble? Click the videos in the center for more awesome wrestling content right into your eyes.